Welcome back, neophytes. Today we're going to be discussing the Enneagram Sexual 7. Type 7 is the passion of gluttony, as we've said before, but for the sexual subtype, that gluttony shows up less as I want more stuff and more as I want more intensity, more connection, and more aliveness. This is the 7 who falls in love with people, projects, spiritual paths, aesthetics, and anything that feels like a portal into a more vivid reality. So, the titles here. We have the Enchanter, the addict of possibility, and the spellbound lover. These are all ways of pointing to the same thing. This is a 7 that is constantly trying to drink life through the eyes of another person or through some heightened experience. Their hunger lives in the realm of fusion. Just like the other Enneagram 7s, the sexual 7 is optimistic, forward-looking, and drawn to options, but instead of spreading out into the many scattered pleasures, their attention locks onto what fascinates them. More often, it's a person or a path. They're the 7 who feels like they're always on the edge of some great romance, some big life adventure, or some spiritual or artistic breakthrough.
Infinite in mystery is the gift of the goddess. We seek it thus and take to the sky. Ripples form on the water's surface. The wandering soul knows no rest. Settle down, Zack the puppy.
The grave at the house. We found the remains of our people there as well.
It didn't take much to have them send false reports. Just some mild threats.
They would have done that anyway. At least your parents would have.
My parents betrayed me. They had always betrayed me from the very beginning. What do you know?
Shit, relax, dogs!
Where a self-preservation 7 might be gluttonous for comfort and resources, a sexual 7 is gluttonous for chemistry and significance. They want life to feel charged. They can be very romantic, not always in soft, sentimental ways, but in a sense of believing in the one partner, the one calling, the one experience that will finally make everything click.
Welcome, partner. I see. You finally made your decision. I'll respect your wishes, old friend. However, can you really live on that side?
Life becomes real when there's a current running between me and something or someone else.
You shouldn't drink before a fight.
You learned this during your years in the fighting pits. I always drink before a fight.
It could get you killed. It could get me killed.
Today is not the day I die.
We can consider gluttony as an abstraction. For the sexual 7, gluttony isn't just about food or more fun or more things. It's this urge to merge and get more and more of a feeling through another person or through a specific experience. They often feel like, if I can just drink enough of this connection, this insight, this passion, then I'll finally be able to plug the hole within me. So their hunger sounds like, I want more of you, or I want more of the way I feel when I'm with you, or I want more of this spiritual high, this artistic state, this erotic charge. They tend to experience people as doors into different worlds. Dating someone can feel like traveling to a different reality. That's why they can become very quickly obsessed, intoxicated, and suggestible around someone who fascinates them. It isn't casual, it's like discovering a new drug. You can tie in the symbol, the shot glasses on an altar. Each person or experience becomes a little vial of altered consciousness that they want to taste again and again.
Worried about a child halfway across the world.
A child with 2 seasoned warriors counseling her, and a powerful army at her back, Your Grace.
Lord Varys is right. I have been to Essos and seen the Unsullied firsthand. They are very impressive on the battlefield. Less so in the bedroom.
I imagined you'd be back at the brothel at this hour.
I did spend some time with an absolutely stunning blonde the other day.
Do tell.
Your sister.
Oh.
Sexual sevens live in a double movement. They get enchanted and they enchant. On one side, they are highly suggestible when something or someone lights them up. A charismatic person, a mystical teacher, a dangerous lover, a radical new idea. Sexual 7 can fall under that spell very easily. They can lose some of their usual skepticism because the intensity feels too good to question. On the other side, they also become the enchanter. They read people well. They know how to be interesting. They can be magnetic, witty, sensual, mysterious. There's a conscious or unconscious sense of, I know how to pull you in, and I know how to make you feel chosen and alive. So there's this loop. They're both addict and dealer of intensity. They want a relationship or a calling that feels like a shortcut to transcendence. If I'm with this person or on this path, I don't have to face my emptiness. I can live in this charged field instead. The serpent in velvet image captures the bland blend of beauty and danger. There's a charm, but there's also a risk of self-betrayal and pulling others into something that's more about the high than about genuine care.
I told you. You can't live on that side anymore.
Angel! Angel!
My friend, do you fly away now? To a world that abhors you and I?
Shut up!
All that awaits
Shut
you
up! I'm
is a
warning you!
somber morrow, no matter where the winds may blow. I don't see Sephiroth today, but are you game?
This is where Sexual 7 starts looking a bit like a 4 from the outside. There's a strong streak of idealism and fantasy. Sexual 7 doesn't just want a relationship, they want the relationship. Not just work, but the vocation. Not just a nice life, but the special cinematic life. They build a very rich inner story about how things could be, the perfect lover, the perfect future, and the perfect spiritual path. However, when reality doesn't match that inner movie, and it rarely does, they often respond not by grieving, but by changing the movie. New partner, new friend group, new project, new city, new spiritual community. The gluttony is not only for pleasure, but for possibility. So they live half in the here and now, and half in a kind of internal cinema. A helpful line here is, they're loyal to their fantasy of you more than to you as a person until they start doing deep work.
You think I have time to waste? Get him a gun! Don't look at me! Get the pads on!
You'll adjust. I'm Dave.
Klaus.
Look at me. Hey. No. Damn it, I need a medic!
This is torture. I can't hear you. Klaus, you can do this. Stay strong. Don't give in to temptation.
Dad.
I expected my son, who can conjure the dead, to have brought me forth days ago.
Yeah, well, it's complicated. You know, I tried. I did, but...
You are poisoning yourself.
Life isn't supposed to be easy. Life is hard. Bad things happen. Good people die.
Wow, playing the dead card again, huh? You need new material, bro.
I was talking about Dave.
You're right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Because their instinct is oriented toward fusion, the sexual 7 often relates to people as mirrors. Through you, I see how special, exciting, and important I am. And when they're in a good cycle, this comes out as charisma or confidence. They truly feel like life is large and they're meant for big experiences. However, the combination of gluttony and narcissism can create entitlement. They can feel like they deserve a love that feels huge, or they deserve experiences as big as their inner worlds, or that they shouldn't have to live a small and ordinary life like everyone else. Other people can unconsciously become props within their story. When they're mirrored well, when a partner is fascinated or a group is captivated, they feel inflated and alive. However, when that mirror drops, they can feel insulted and restless, or even humiliated. They'll start to withdraw or look for a new mirror. The shattered mirror symbol is a way of saying that their self-image is fragmented across many fantasies, and they'll keep chasing reflections until they start to build a more grounded sense of self.
Summons aren't meant to be used like this. What happened to dreams and honor?
We are monsters. We have neither dreams nor honor.
The passion is gluttony, a basic restlessness, a sense that there's never enough fullness or intensity to quiet the hunger. The fixation is planning. The mind runs ahead. The next trip, the next person, the next peak, the next project. Even in the most amazing moment, the sexual 7 brain is already asking, how do we extend this? What's next? And where else can we go? Emotionally, it often looks like a cycle. Heightened euphoria, the new person, new fantasy, the new path. Disappointment, they discover flaws, limits, boredom, or conflict. Escape, instead of staying with the letdown, they pivot to something new. And then, finally, a new euphoria, a fresh start, another high. They do feel deeply, but they tend to skim away when feelings become heavy, like grief, shame, loneliness, and fear. These are states that gluttony is trying to out.
Headed for it. In fact, the real hero was Ben. Today, listen, today, he punched me in the face. And earlier at the house, he was the one who saved Diego's life, not me. All right, I'll give you proof. All right, it's showtime, baby. Catch.
It's him. Ben!
Now who's the lookout?
Many sexual sevens report some version of inconsistency in their early bonds. For example, a caregiver who was warm and seductive at times, but emotionally absent or chaotic at others. Or a parent who needed the child to be entertaining, pleasing, or special, then would withdraw or collapse. So the nervous system learns a pattern. When connection is intense, I feel alive. When it fades, I feel abandoned or dead inside. The child might respond by chasing that warmth even harder by trying to be even more dazzling, funny, loving, or good. Love becomes associated with highs and crashes. Stability feels dull. Intensity feels like proof that they matter. That's the seed of the later gluttony for emotional, erotic, spiritual highs. The image of the child at a carnival with melting cotton candy is the feeling. Sweetness that's vivid, but keeps disappearing, so you keep chasing the next treat.
After all, you know what I am now. I can fight with all my weapons, teeth included.
Sexual sevens often have a natural seductive presence, even if they're not conventionally hot. There's usually a sense of play, sparkle, or quick attunement. They can very quickly read what other people find attractive, whether it's intelligence, vulnerability, humor, spirituality, and they'll subtly become that. They're good at creating the feeling, you and I have something special. And this can be genuine, but it's also a strategy. If the other is lit up, they feel lit up too. Underneath, there's usually a fear that if they show their ordinary, needy, or messy self, the other person will lose interest. So the charm becomes a kind of armor. Healing involves noticing that they don't actually have to keep performing in order to be loved. The spotlight symbol works well here. They step into that light easily, but it's exhausting to live there all the time.
She's almost as scary as you, Lae'zel. So naturally she gets my vote. You want to just team up with some blood-stained killer? Because I'm fine with that. I knew we were a strange band. But a fugitive from the hells? Now that's someone worth knowing. Not that I want to get on the wrong side of any devils, but this Karlach is a survivor. Plus, I appreciate anyone who opens a conversation with threats of bodily harm. I'm sorry, but what in the literal hells was that? Do you often burst into flames? Or was that a special occasion? I can imagine. Still, we all have our little quirks. I'm sure we'll come to appreciate them.
For the sexual seven, relationships are rarely just about company. They're about a sense of destiny or expansion. The partner is a soulmate, a co-conspirator, a co-star. They can fall quickly and make big promises and envision a huge future together. But once that high settles, reality shows up. The partner has limitations, routines, boring days, and unresolved wounds. The sexual 7 often feels a drop, like, where did the magic go? And the common response is, when they feel boredom, they quietly pull away and seek stimulation elsewhere. This leads to split attention, where someone else starts to feel more exciting, thus leading to drama, fights, and push and pull dynamics, or makeup intensity, to try and reboot the feeling of aliveness. The core wound here is that nothing external can sustain the fantasy forever. Learning to love the person as they are and stay through the flatness is a big piece of sexual 7 maturity. Many sexual 7s are drawn to spirituality, occult topics, psychedelics, intense religious or mystical experiences. They're often sincerely interested, but there can be a gluttonous flavor. Give me more insight, more revelation, and more peak states. They can be vulnerable to charismatic gurus or systems that promise accelerated awakening. Spiritual communities can also become the new relationship high. The risk is confusing state for trait, thinking that a strong experience equals real transformation. In reality, they may be collecting mystical highs the way another 7 collects fun adventures. Think candlelit temple with disco lights. This captures the blend, a sacred impulse but also party vibes.
Destiny's children! Let us all commune with the infinite.
When the need for intensity and fusion becomes blocked, when a relationship is flat, or when life feels constrained, or when they're forced into ordinary, the sexual 7 shadow can become sharp. They might become jealous, intrusive, controlling, or trying to force intensity back into the connection. They might act out through reckless sex, substances, spending, or impulsive decisions. They can devalue people very quickly once the feeling fades. It can be like you were never that deep anyway. Often, they frame their acting out as authenticity. I'm just being honest about what I want, or I can't lie to myself. Sometimes that is courage, but other times it's a way of avoiding grief and responsibility.
I to apologize that you are depriving some village of their idiot!
At some point, the usual strategy stops working as well. Relationships pile up, projects are left unfinished, spiritual paths are sampled but not integrated. The sexual 7 starts to feel a kind of hangover, emptiness, shame over hurt caused to others, bitterness or cynicism about love or meaning, and a sense that nothing actually satisfies them for long. This is a critical moment. Some 7s try to double down, a new partner, new thrill, a louder denial. Others, often through some kind of loss or burnout, finally realize that they can't keep doing this. You can say that this is the dawn after the carnival lights are off. The trash is on the ground and it's uncomfortable and sobering, but it's also the first real invitation to depth.
You're nothing here. 200 years of slavery, and that was still the most humiliating thing I've ever seen.
You enjoying that?
disgusting worm. Just remember, you're nothing here.
Not bad. I would have taken the whole toe, but whatever works for you.
Some of the blind spots of the sexual 7 include mistaking intensity for love, or mistaking chemistry for compatibility, or believing that fascination will last forever if they keep upgrading for new cities, new partners, and new costumes. Underestimating the impact of their disappearances, broken promises, and divided attention. They can also tend to avoid grief and ordinariness. They see dullness as death, when in reality, some of the deepest nourishment only shows up once things slow down. The key here is to help them see these patterns without shame as strategies that can be updated.
Should've brought my rollerblades. Show these kids how it's done. Oh, and that's why we do it. But mostly the money. The limited edition Voltron Defender of the Universe ring, por favor. Milady?
Well, I hate to...
Hush falls over the crowd as rookie sensation Wade W. Wilson out of Regina, Saskatchewan lines up the shot. I'm about to do to you what Limp Bizkit did to music in the late 90s. Dad?
Sexual 7s have a contagious aliveness. They can re-enchant people who have gone numb. They are often great at spotting potential in others, connecting souls, initiating creative or spiritual journeys. Their curiosity isn't just mental, it's about souls, stories, and inner worlds. They can help people feel seen and drawn into a bigger, more vivid sense of life. The same hunger that once chased highs can become a drive for truth and real intimacy. Instead of how can I feel more, it becomes how can I show up more deeply and honestly here with this person in this moment. The fire that was once used for fireworks can become a steady light for others.
And this one. In case the other fell off.
What are you still doing? Get out of here. Go make yourself useful. Go be a really big brother to someone. Tell Beast to stop shitting on my lawn and
You're cool.
What in the ass? That was not mean. I'm proud.
The path of transformation for the sexual 7 involves allowing disappointment to land. Instead of immediately reframing or escaping, actually feel the sting when things fall short. Allow grief. Mourn the fantasy, the lost possibilities, the hurts given and received. This is what gluttony is designed to avoid. Practice staying. Stay in one relationship, one practice, one commitment long enough to move beyond the first high. Tell the truth. See less seduction, more honesty in conversations. This is what I feel and this is what I fear. Over time, the instinct shifts from chasing stimulation to building depth. Intensity doesn't disappear, but it's no longer the master. It becomes a byproduct of the real presence. You can emphasize that this isn't about becoming dull, it's about becoming whole. For Enneagram 7, the traditional virtue is sobriety. That doesn't only mean abstaining from substances, it means clear seeing and right-sized desire. For sexual 7, sobriety looks like being able to sit in intimacy without always needing to turn it up or escape. Choosing people and paths with eyes open, not just because they feel magical. Tasting life fully without devouring or using it. The movement is from indulgence to gratitude. I don't need everything, but I can truly receive what's here. And from chase to rest. I don't have to hunt for my worth. through other people, and from fantasy to presence, I can live in this one body, this one life, this one love.